This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Good morning, everyone. Shalom Aleichem, Bruchim Haba, welcome back. Agezunta Zomer. We're continuing in Mishna Berura Mishna Berura Daf Hahavua. We're learning Siman Lamed Gimel Seif Beis. Siman Lamed Gimel Seif Beis. We'll start again from Seif Beis. Let's get up the Marmakoimos here. Okay, here we go. Im Nifsiku Tfiros HaTefillin. If the stitching of the tefillin snapped, LaHarambam, according to the Rambam. Now, what does it mean? Im Nifsiku Tfiros HaTefillin. Okay, that's from last time's diagram. You have the stitching. We know there's stitching on the top of the titura and underneath the titura. Im hayu shtei hatfiros zu b'tzad zu. If the two stitchings were one on the side of the other, or if you have a total of 3 snapped stitchings, even if it's not opposite each other, they are pasul. Now, zu b'tzad zu means the one here. Let's see in this diagram, the snap on top corresponds to the snap on the bottom. So if it's 2 stitchings, zu b'tzad zu, oishenifsiku gimel tfiros, afilu zu shaloi keneged zu. That would be a case of gimel, where on the bottom you just have 3 stitchings that are not right opposite or next to each other. Harei elu psulim. Dvar mamurim, when is this talking about? Biyashanim, if it's old tefillin. Aval b'chadashim, but if it's new, Kozman sha'oyer Moshe Vabatim kayim kshem. So long as the leather of the seat of the bias is extant, it's kosher. Let's see the Mishna Berura, the Harambam. Avoshare poiskim pligi ala. Other poiskim argue on the Rambam. Mekin b'chol gavni b'shtei tfiros. They always hold 2 stitchings are okay. Uveshloisha tfiros shenifseku, 3 that snap. Machmirin da'afilu tikun b'makom ha'hefsek lemahani. They hold you can't even fix it where it snapped. It's disparaging to the tefillin when it's recognizable that it snapped in 3 places. Bein b'chadashim, whether it's new, bein b'yeshanim, or whether it's old. And you have to go back and sew it again. Chumash bar betur ubeis Yosef leel b'soif Siman lamed beis ayin sham. Zu shaloi keneged zu, one not opposite each other. Afilu kol echad b'tzad acher, even if each one is on a different side. One's on the top, 2 are on the bottom. As long as Moshav Habatim Kayam. Now finally, we get to the picture. What does it mean that Moshav Habatim Kayam? That the leather that the bottom rests on is extant. That's the titura. The Mishna Berura says, "Hana titura v'chanal v'gam b'zeh das Rama k'may b'hagala el." The Rama, as he added earlier, holds it's not enough for the Moshav Habatim, the Titura, to be Kayam, but you need the bias itself to be Kayam. It's not enough that the Moshav Habatim is Kayam. You need more than that. You need the bias itself to be Kayam. Okay, very nice. But he relied on what he said before. Let's continue on the Mechaber. Ve'elu hein chadashim. What does new mean? New means kol she'oichzin mixas ha'ar shenikra. Kol she'oichzin mixas ha'ar. Anytime you hold on to part of the hide, shenikra tfarai, that the stitching tore, the toilin bayat tefillin, and you suspend the tefillin, v'hu chazak, and it's strong, ve'inoi nifsak, and it doesn't snap. Let's see what this means. Here we have a picture. You grab part of the R. Let's say the stitching tore. Not sure why the stitching would have to tear. I guess if the stitching doesn't tear, there's no way to get a good grip on it. But let's say the stitching tore. And now you could get a good grip on the tefillin. and you're able to hold the tefillin. So then it's considered new tefillin. But if it sort of crumbles and it breaks off and it's not nifsek, that's old tefillin. The definition of new tefillin is you could get a good grip on it. Okay, Haga, V'yeshaimim, and like we said earlier, if it's new, then they're puzzle, because that means it wasn't made good to begin with. Uv'yeshanim ksherim, and if it's old, it's kosher. The toiv lachos shtei hasoros, it is correct to be choshesh for both of these positions. Okay, says the Mishna Berura, lachos v'atzolaymer lahachmir machmazeh lechatchila b'shteihem. See, machmer because of this lechatchila by both of them. If you can't find other tefillin, and you can't restitch these tefillin, then yesh lismach al makilan b'psikas hatfiros bein b'chadashos ubein b'yeshanos. Basically, like this, we should try to be machmer like both shitos, that it's puzzle whether it's new or whether it's old. But the truth is, the same way there's a machmer shita both if it's new and if it's old, there's also a lenient shita both if it's new and if it's old. So if you can find tefillin, other tefillin, and you can restitch the tefillin, you can be soymech on those who are lenient, whether it's new, whether it's old, bein bebeis tfiros, whether it's 2, ubein b'shalosh, or whether it's 3. Now, who says it's good if it's 3? Because who said it's good, or whether even if it's 3? That would be if it's 3, you should be careful not to make a bracha on it. Look in the Bir Halacha. So I don't understand what basis would there be. Meaning, have we encountered a shita in the Machaber that if it's 3 stitches are snapped, then it's good? We found that according to the Rambam, 2 zu b'tzad zu is possible, or 3 even zu shaloi keneged zu. Oh, I guess but that was only by old. But if it was new, then it was still good. Meaning, if it was new, it was still good. But some say if it's old, it's still good. So therefore, meaning we have a shita that will be machshir under all circumstances. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. That will conclude one learning. Let's go further, because when we have the opportunity, always good to be ahead. So
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.